Bible truth, line by line, in context, 5-minute lessons. Let's go. Welcome to Bible Bites. All right, guys, the 5-minute lesson starts now. All right, guys, welcome back. We left off with Romans 3:17, and Paul was talking to us about peace, how mankind did not find peace with God. And then we walked through this logic train, and we saw that the way of peace is God himself and not the rules. Now, that's where we're going to pick up, but I want you to go back to Romans 2. And I want you to remember that the law of God was just a form of truth, but it did not have the power to save men, okay? Keep it in the back of your head. Let's keep going. Romans 3:18, Paul says there is no fear of God. Now, by context, we know from the reading that mankind does not have peace with God. We do not avoid bloodshed. We do not have honest tongues. We're deceitful, and we do not have a message of peace. We spread death like venom from an asp, a serpent, okay? So we can infer that if we had fear of the Lord, none of those things would happen. Right? Remember, Romans 1:32 says, we know the judgment of God for wrongdoing is death, but we do it anyway. And then we take pleasure in others who do so too. Again, like a venomous serpent. Okay? Serpents are not killed by their own venom inside them, but they kill others by spreading it, or they're killed by being infected with another type of venom, right? So we find others to infect and destroy. Romans 3:16, and we love every second of it. Running to find more victims. Romans 3:15. Let's stay in this context. Now, Romans 3:19. Paul makes a hard statement after everything he's just run through, right? He makes a hard statement and speaks really clearly about a truth he's been building a case for since Romans 1, that Gentiles are guilty of violating their own law of conscience, the law that's in their heart given to them by God. And because creation has testified to God's authority, his eternal power and Godhead, they're without excuse, and the judgment is death, right? But Paul's been saying also that Jews are all guilty too, because the law of Moses and God has one purpose and outcome for a man. It allows all men to become guilty. Romans 3:6 literally tells us as much, for how else can God judge the world? Ain't that what it says? But notice something. Romans 3:19 says the law is also to stop every mouth. Again, let's go back to the serpent analogy, okay? The venom that spreads death. We are killers, right? And our godliness, our unrighteousness starts in our sight, not respecting God's creation that surround us. It starts in our mind with unbelief that God does not own all, right? It starts in our heart with vile affections and desires. And then finally, it comes out of our mouth with lies that God is not God, or that we, mankind, actually do the will of God on our own, even though the text clearly told us we exchanged the truth of God for a lie. Now, this right here specifically is for the Jews who believed that having the law itself is what made them special, made them just. So even if they failed the law, because they did a lot of the law more than anybody else in the world, right? To the Jew, they were good in their relationship with God. And Paul is literally saying, no, you are not. Now, Romans 3:20, Paul concludes that by the deeds of the law that the law commands Jews to follow, no flesh shall be justified. Only doers of the law are just, right? Romans 2:13, but none are righteous or seek God. Romans 3:10. A Jew is one inwardly, right? With a heart circumcision. Romans 2:29. Meaning neither the law of conscience nor the law of Moses can save mankind from being judged with the wrath of God himself, because the law is the knowledge of sin, Romans 3:20. Meaning the law's purpose is to expose sin, not destroy it, or free us from the judgment it generates. Now notice something. Paul had to confront this audience with the truthful evidence before he could drop these revelations on them. But Paul was speaking to the church, to believers. Romans 1:7, beloved of God, called to be saints. This indicates a man must and can be saved with the truth of God, but the whole truth is not required for salvation. Let's stop there, guys. We are cooking, I'm telling you. I love this. The next part is going to be really, really cool. So come back. We're just going to continue on chugging through Romans, learning about obedience, and ultimately we're going to get to obedience, and it's going to be lovely, okay? Love you guys. Talk to you next time. This is Bible Bites. Out.